From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On Trust News Hour tonight, bandits release 7 more kidnapped Abuja-Kaduna train passengers. Governor Lalong says he is proud to lead APC's Muslim ticket campaign. National Emergency Management Agency receives 13 Jigawa Kano returnees from Sudan. On the foreign scene, new virus infects 35 people in eastern China. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Maide Shuaga. We begin with security. 7 more kidnapped passengers of the March 28 train attack in Kaduna State have regained freedom. The victims were released Wednesday morning after spending 135 days in the custody of the terrorists. It is, however, not clear if any ransom was paid to the terrorists for their release. In a statement on Wednesday, Kaduna-based publisher Tukuru Mamuru, who negotiated the release of some of the passengers, said the victims were released after the intervention of Sheikh Ahmad Gumi. 6 of the released hostages are members of the same family, which include a couple and their 4 children who were released alongside a 60-year-old woman. Speaking to newsmen, one of the victims appealed for government intervention to secure the release of the remaining victims.
People are still out there with their families in the bush. They are left behind in terrifying condition with no food and water. I can give you their names. We are begging and asking for their rescue. We are seeking for forgiveness.
So far, 42 victims have regained their freedom, while 28 are still in captivity. A 60-year-old man, identified as Malam Bala, and his son, Sunusi Bala, 35, have died in a well at Sabungarim Bauchi in Wudil local government area of Kano State while draining water from the well. The public relations officer of the State Fire Service, Saminu Abdullahi, who confirmed the incident in a statement on Wednesday, said the tragedy occurred on Tuesday morning. Abdullahi said they had received an emergency call from Wudil Fire Station at about 11:30 a.m. from one Ismaila Idris that 2 men had been trapped inside a well, and they immediately dispatched a rescue team to the scene. The statement said the victims were brought out of the well unconscious and later confirmed dead. It added that their corpses were handed over to the inspector, Felix Gowok of Wudil Model Police Station. He attributed the cause of the incident to lack of oxygen. Flood has rendered many homeless in Dawakinkudu local government area of Kano State. More than 6,000 people have been displaced by flood in the state. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports from one of the villages that experienced the devastating effect of the flood. The report.
For the past 35 years, the people of Shuawa village in Dawakinkudu local government area of Kano State have been living in fear of losing their homes, especially during rainy season. They lack proper drainage and waterways to prevent heavy downpour from overpowering their mud houses. The people built this retaining wall so that the water will be able to pass through here, behind their houses. Unfortunately, it overpowers them and entered the houses. So as I'm talking to you now, all their houses in this village have been touched by this flood disaster. In fact, there is no single house in this village that was not affected by the flood disaster in one way or the other. And any more heavy rainfall may likely destroy this entire community. Shehu Sani and several others are now coming to terms with the destruction caused by the recent flood and windstorm. We have never seen this type of disaster throughout our lives. It's a kind of lesson to us because I lost everything from my clothes, food items, and many other property. Virtually all their houses in this village were affected. The people are now seeking refuge in a nearby mosque and villages. They say their food items are gone, farmland destroyed, and properties worth millions of naira lost. Our major problem is the lack of drainage system. Before now, the drainage allows us to control the flood. But over time, it has gone. Now you can see that we have lost everything in this village. We have no place to settle our family at the moment. According to a recent report by the Plateau State Emergency Management Agency, a total of 6,417 people were displaced across Plateau State, and that effort is ongoing to provide relief materials to the affected victims.
Item we brought is rice, beans, mattress, cement, zinc nail, vegetable oil, pillows, and other items which we handed over to the chairman, local emergency management committee of the local government to distribute it to these 4 victims.
For the people of these communities, the hardship caused by the flood is unbearable, and that unless something is done to assist them, they may have nowhere else to stay. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
As terrorists advance towards areas that were hitherto peaceful, modifying tactics and strategies, Kankia residents want government to adopt new measures in fighting criminality. This is coming a few days after terrorists attacked Kankia town, where they separately abducted a housewife and 2 children from the community. Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi reports.
Kankia town is the headquarters of Kankia local government area of Katsina State. Terrorists bearing dangerous weapons stormed by Kinkaswa Kankia around 2:45 a.m. on Sunday, smashing walls to gain access into houses of their victims. 3 persons who are still in captivity were abducted during that raid on Sunday night. The terrorists were said to have operated freely for over an hour without any response from security operatives despite distress calls put through to them by the residents. It was horrifying the way they forced themselves into my house. When I noticed their presence, I scaled my house fence to escape, but they abducted my first wife. The terrorists used diggers to break through the wall of my house to gain access. Though there were a series of abductions for ransom and armed robbery cases in the past, the number of attacks in Kankia town have been minimal compared to other neighboring local government areas. Unlike other communities affected by terrorist attacks, Kankia residents are determined not to flee their ancestral homes for the fear of other attacks. They are promising to be more organized to assist security operatives to confront the terrorists head-on. The attackers caught us unaware. Many residents were scared upon hearing sporadic gunshots that night. I couldn't sleep throughout that night because of the fear of attack. Worried by the situation, stakeholders here are saying the well-coordinated attack wouldn't have been successful without credible information from informants. However, authorities are saying they are taking steps to forestall reoccurrence of the ugly attack.
You see, even in that Kankia attack, It's not that our men were not there. We went there. In this fight, we are planning. We have come with formidable strategies in dealing with this new modus operandi, which I will not say it here.
As at the time of compiling this report, the suspected terrorists have started contacting families of the abductees, demanding for ransom to secure their release. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Troops of the 195 Battalion, Operation Hadinkai, have arrested 7 Boko Haram logistics suppliers and kidnappers on the outskirts of Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. According to the reports, the suspects were arrested along the Maiduguri-Mafa axis on Tuesday. Security source said the troops became suspicious when a large quantity of gari concealed in gallons and hidden beneath the vehicles was discovered. He added that the troops also rescued 5 kidnapped people and recovered 1 burnt truck. Governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, says the APC Muslim ticket is a party affair and has nothing to do with religion. Governor Lalong, who is also the Director General, DG of the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Organization, is not ready to give up the position. The governor spoke on Wednesday with newsmen at State House, Abuja, after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. Kehinde Amodu reports.
As the political race gathers steam ahead of the 2023 elections, some decisions by political players have taken the electorate completely by surprise. For instance, no one believed that given the charged atmosphere, any politician would attempt a same-faith ticket for the presidency. It is happening, and despite the huge opposition to it, the ruling All Progressives Congress seems determined to ride out the storm.
When it comes to politics, it's a matter of choice, matter of interest. In every political party, you have Christians and you have Muslims. In every political party, there's opportunity for you to vote for a Christian or to vote for a Muslim. If you don't want a Muslim, you wait until the electoral day, you go and vote. It be your choice. If you don't want a Christian, you go there and go and vote.
Governor Lalong has choice words for those alleging that he lobbied to become the running mate of the APC presidential candidate.
People said because I was denied VP, I said I did not lobby for BP. Yes, many people were lobbying and writing on my behalf, but what I wanted to be, and I still stand for now, I obtained form for Senate. I won. I have my senatorial ticket that I'm waiting for. So if at any time some people who wanted to be VP lost out and they are using religion, they should not use me to help them.
Equally controversial is the rebuilding of the Jos Central Market, which has been subsumed by religious undertones.
We brought developers and Jumia Bank is funding them. They build the market and the market will be given to Plateau State to be shared, to distributed to those who will want to buy the market. And then a National Assembly member who has not contributed anything to the state. The only thing he wants to contribute to get re-elected is to go and start spreading false allegation that the market, I had sold the market for 40 years to Jumia Bank. It's not possible. The 40 years is for the shop owners. That is those off-takers who are going to buy. The little civil servants or the poor people that will borrow money from the bank to come and buy shop.
Proponents of secularity argue that religion should be separated from state and leadership should emerge based on competence rather than affiliation. It is an argument that has been advanced, but does not seem to be catching on, which means Governor Lalong, as DG of the campaign, has a huge task on his hands. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
As 2023 general elections approach, youths have been charged to abstain from all forms of immoral behavior. Instead, stakeholders urged them to take responsibility of building a prosperous Nigeria by electing leaders with proven integrity who will bring the expected development. Salis Lawan reports.
The countdown is well underway for what will be the 7th general elections since the return to democracy in 1999. This represented 23 years of unbroken democracy, the longest period in the country's history. However, stakeholders are calling on youth to desist from being used as political targets by unscrupulous politicians for their selfish gains. They said now is the time for far-reaching sensitization campaigns to educate electorates on the importance of exercising their franchise in an honest manner, shunning violence.
But I'm happy today that people have realized money politics will take us nowhere. They have deliberately commercialized the political process so that people like me, you and others who has the knowledge, the experience, the integrity not to participate. Today, we are talking to ourselves. We are talking to ourselves directly. What is our problem? And what are the solutions? Our problem is to get the right people there, even if they don't even have the resources. You know, integrity is more than money. If today you elect somebody because you believe in him, that yes, this man has the knowledge, this man has the experience, he is a very good person, he has been tested and trusted, he is a man of integrity, then I believe we will be there.
On their parts, the youth stressed the importance of education in any country. They said for any country to develop, there has to be a good system of education in place. Therefore, they call on the leaders to give priority to education.
We have realized our mistakes as youths in this country. Look at our universities, closed for over 5 months. Actually, we suffered more than ever. 2023 election, we must ensure that Nigeria get it right by voting those who we believe will squarely address challenges and bring the needed development of the country.
I'm calling on my fellow youths to avoid being misused by some politicians as their political dogs, because it is obvious they only use us and dump after election, whereas we suffer, they enjoy along with their loved ones.
Nigeria may be celebrating its longest run of uninterrupted democracy. However, stakeholders believed that choosing competence and integrity will give the nation the desired outcome. From Yola, Salis Lawan, Trust TV News.
Director General of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, 2023 campaign, Abdulaziz Suleiman, has raised concerns over the current political developments in the country, taking ethnic, regional, and religious dimensions. Abdulaziz, who raised the concern during his maiden news conference in Abuja, expressed worries that the nation's political class are reincarnating a process that could lead to the collapse of the current dispensation. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
The journalist turned activist and now politician says the current political trajectory in the country is taking a dangerous turn of events similar to what led to the collapse of the First Republic.
As the 2023 fresh round of general elections draw closer, Nigerians can see that major political parties in the contest have inadvertently taken the dangerous contours that led to the events of 1966, which laid the foundation of the collapse of the First Republic Nigerian politics, and the setting in of regional, religious, and tribal hatred, jealousies, and distrust.
He says to reverse the trend, Nigerians must look at political parties that are not built around the fault lines of ethnic, religious, and regional considerations.
No one wins a religious or ethnic war. No ethnic group can dominate another forever. And no benefit comes from fights and conflicts over what God has blessed us with, our population, our land and its resources, and our values.
Yes. Abdulaziz was also put on the spotlight on his seeming class suicide and some of his roles in hardline regional activism.
We did not give an order for any people from a certain region to quit. We responded to a threat with a counter threat. To think that I have changed, I haven't. I'm still Abdulaziz. I'm still the CNG brand. And that was not the only thing we did. We have challenged the federal government led by our own brother.
He tasked Nigerians to rise against the antics of politicians wanting to take advantage of their vulnerability to endemic poverty and set them against one another for their selfish gains. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
President Muhammadu Buhari has called on political leaders to stay focused and uphold the objective of promoting the interest of the country, saying Nigeria cannot afford another civil war. President Buhari made the call on Tuesday in Abuja while receiving former state chairman of the defunct Congress for Progressive Change. The president stated that the self-centeredness that led to the loss of about 1 million lives between 1967 and 1970 must not be allowed to repeat itself, stressing that the CPC was founded on the bedrock of patriotism and loyalty to the unity of Nigeria. Chairman of the forum and former chairman of the party in Niger State, Umar Shuaibu, said the CPC had maintained all its structures across the country and assured of their loyalty, especially in the forthcoming elections. Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu has insisted that the presidency of Nigeria must come to the south in 2023 in order not to thwart the power rotation arrangement in the country. He said this on Wednesday while delivering a lecture entitled Nigeria, the Politics of Religion in a Transitional Society at the one-year remembrance of the Professor Bankole Oke of the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, University of Ibadan. Akeredolu said power rotation had been an unwritten agreement in the country since the return to civil rule in 1999, saying that arrangement must not be changed now. He advised Nigerians to make sure that power did not return to the north under what he described as the guise of a party picking a southerner as its vice presidential candidate. Still on politics, members of All Progressives Congress in Osun State, who are loyalists of the Minister of Interior and former governor of the state, Rauf Aregbesola, say they are ready to end the crisis rocking the party. APC lost the recently concluded governorship election in the state to the PDP, which many attribute to the internal crisis of the party in the state. At a press conference in Osogbo on Wednesday, factional chairman of the party, Razak Shalinshile, said Aregbesola met the party chairman Abdullahi Adamu for reconciliation before the July 16 election. He said APC candidate in the governorship election, Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, delayed the reconciliation until the party lost the election.
We restate our resolute decision that we will not yield this platform to political traders and vandals. We remain bona fide members of Osun APC. It is sad, at the same time, laughable to observe that Famodun reported in the last two paragraphs of his press conference text that Governor Oyetola has finally seen what we have been clamoring for in about 3 years now, and is now ready to restructure Osun APC. The duo of Governor Oyetola and Prince Famodun have definitely fulfilled their wishful mission to bring Osun APC down. It is often said in Yoruba that if you leave your mom's corpse to the care of a madman, he may end up roasting it for his dinner. The National Secretariat has a duty not to wait any longer. The wall of Jericho has fallen with Famodun's confession, and Osun APC should undergo immediate reorganization, rebooting, re-engineering, re-energizing for greater performances. I sincerely thank you all for taking time to listen. I voted APC. And where Oyetola, in the election, Oyetola was our candidate. I voted him. And thank you. And I won my local government for APC. What else are we saying? I come from Iwo local government. Go and check. Go and check. I won it. We learned he has a very big and strong ties with Osun State. I don't want to go into that. So he's our leader, he's our father, and he's our tribesman. And he's our presidential candidate. We don't have two presidential candidates in Yoruba land and in the party. So that one is a foregone conclusion. Very clear.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, access to free health care for the vulnerable. Stay with us.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve their sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. a recap of our top stories. Bandits release 7 more kidnapped Abuja-Kaduna train passengers. And Governor Lalong says he is proud to lead APC's Muslim ticket campaign. Even as the remaining victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack remain captive, taxi drivers and traders at the Rigasa railway station want government to hasten the rescue of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack victims to enable train service to resume. They said suspension of the train services has resulted in the loss of many jobs, as many families now find it difficult to survive. The report.
This place used to be very busy with passengers, traders, and taxi drivers. But for over months now, the place has been deserted and many jobs lost due to the suspension of train service by the Nigerian Railway Corporation after terrorists attacked Kaduna-Abuja train, abducted many, and killed some. Taxi drivers who convey arriving passengers from the station to different destinations are almost idle, as patronage has fallen to almost zero level. The suspension of train services has paralyzed our business here. We are in hardship. Some of us had to relocate to other places in search of jobs. The place is deserted as no business activity is taking place. We find it difficult to get food as there are no passengers to convey. Yakubu Abubakar is a tea and bread seller at the Rigasa railway station. He once employed 6 people prior to the suspension of train services, but now he can barely cater for his family. About 95% of traders left this place, although some people do come here to while away time and go back home. I used to have 6 people that helped me manage my business, but now I manage it alone because I can't pay them. They have to leave. They appeal to the government to hasten the rescue of the remaining train attack passengers and secure the train route to enable train service to resume so that their businesses can bounce back. We want the government to make more effort in bringing back the train service so that our business will bounce back. We appeal to the government to save our source of livelihood by bringing back the train service and also rescue the remaining victims still in captivity. We appeal to the government to devise means of negotiating with the abductors of the train passengers so that our business will revamp. The resumption of train service is expected to rekindle hopes in many households at Rigasa community and beyond, as business activities will be revamped. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The coordinator of the Kano Territorial Office of the National Emergency Management Agency, Nuruddin Abdullahi, has said that the agency received 13 Nigerians from the Sudan. The returnees arrived at Malam Aminu Kano International Airport Tuesday aboard an Ethiopian airline aircraft. Abdullahi noted that the returnees were brought back through the International Organization for Migration Initiative on Migrants Protection and Reintegration and European Union under the Assisted Voluntary Returnees Program. The returnees included 5 female adults and 8 children, comprising 3 female and 5 male from Jigawa and Kano states. The returnees were given food, toiletries, blankets, mosquito nets, pampers, and clothes each. Drivers in the Federal Capital Territory have been called upon to adhere to traffic rules and regulations to curb the menace of bad roads occasioned by vehicular infractions. Supervisory Councillor on Special Duties in Abuja, Emmanuel Inyan, made the call while speaking at the AMAC headquarters in Abuja. The report
further explained that the call became necessary, especially during the rainy season, where drivers are fond of creating diversions to ease movement, thereby disrupting traffic flow. Inyang added that drivers that refuse to adhere to the road rules and regulations will be fined from 50,000 naira upward, depending on the offense of the driver.
We place more emphasis on the rural areas than the city. The reason is that the Federal Capital Development Authority most times are in charge of the cities. We decide most times to put infrastructures in the interland, most especially where the FCT administration will not be able to get closed. And that is where the populace, the masses are residing. And for us as a council, we believe that those in the satellite town already are enjoying all the goodies that is coming out of the Federal Capital Territory Development Authority. So it is beckoned on us that there are a very large crowd of persons who are in the satellite towns, who are in the local areas.
The councillor on special duties, who said Abuja Municipal Area Council will continue to monitor the activities of road users in the FCT, also revealed that AMAC will broaden its operations and collaborate with other NGOs and agencies to achieve set objectives. A cross-section of drivers who spoke on the deplorable condition of the road said it is disheartening to drive on the road, especially during the rainy season.
The road is very, very bad, and it's not even accommodating cars. And moreover, if it rains at all, before you even be thinking of even bringing your car outside. Instead of that, you rather drop your car and then take a bike. And at times, if the bike man is not even careful, you'll just slip and fall. So I feel government should just come to the aid of the people in this area so that at least they can actually walk on the road.
I feel sad. It's terrible actually, because definitely you create pothole and then it ends up spoiling your car and even soiling at the end of the day, and then you end up going to a mechanic and washing it at the end of the day. So it's not actually good. So we actually seek for all the organizations that are responsible to come and help us fix it.
The motorists called on government as a matter of urgency repair the bad portion of the road to ensure free flow of movement. Kabir Lowell, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Pioneer Non-Interest Bank and the leading financial service provider, Jumia Bank, is seeking sustained partnership with Media Trust Group towards growing its business frontiers. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Hassan Usman, led top management staff of the bank on a courtesy visit to the Media Trust outfit. Musa Luka reports.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Hassan Usman, said the courtesy visit was aimed at solidifying the relationship between the two institutions and to congratulate the management on their new appointment. He expressed satisfaction on the job of Media Trust in doing, especially being the eyes, voice, and the ears of the people.
From Jumia, you have a partner, an institution that you also help to create, even if not as actively as you have created the Daily Trust TV, but also a contribution that we cherish in Jumia. We also cherish your continuous patronage, because Daily Trust is one of our valued customers, as not just a shareholder, but a valued customer that patronizes the organization on a very continuous basis.
Mr. Hassan spoke on the bank's 10th anniversary, their journey as non-interest bank in Nigeria, and how it has contributed positively to the financial growth in the economy. Receiving the delegation, the management of Media Trust, led by the Group Chief Executive Officer Munir Gwarzo, appreciated Jumia Bank for their visit and their services to the company, and assures the bank that Trust Media has strategized to satisfy the demands of their customers.
Even within the company, within the management, we have done some restructuring. Some strategic departments have been created to sharpen our service delivery. And that's why you see us now having a new logo, and very soon we're going to be having a lot of adverts. We want to continue to be partners with you, and we want to play a very important role in your anniversary.
Usman also explained that the bank is dedicated toward financing some major sectors in the country that can boost the economy of the nation.
We've been financing many sectors, including housing, delivery, agriculture, commerce, and manufacturing. Sectors that are very, very important to the growth of the economy.
The Group Chief Executive Officer assures the bank of the company's full support and hope to work closely with the bank toward improving the economy. Musa Luka, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Nigerian Copyright Commission and the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have renewed their partnership in the fight against organized crimes, including drug trafficking and copyright piracy. Chairman and Chief Executive of NDLEA, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, retired, and Director General of NCC, John O. Assain, disclosed this during a visit of the NCC management to the NDLEA headquarters in Abuja. The chief executives noted that drug trafficking and copyright piracy were inimical to national development. They expressed concern that criminal activities adversely affect the youths in particular and destroy the country's creative resource. Zamfara State government has officially flagged off commencement of access to free healthcare services to 34,000 less privileged and vulnerable persons across the 147 wards in the state. The governor, Bello Mohammed, who inaugurated the program at Talata Mafara local government of the state, said it is part of his administration's determination to provide quality and access to healthcare services for all categories of residents of the state. The report.
Accessing healthcare services is a big deal to residents of Zamfara State, northwest Nigeria, especially those in rural communities. This is due to the security challenges currently confronting the state, where many rural communities have been sacked. The flag-off of the free healthcare services to 34,000 pregnant women, children under the age of 5, and victims of banditry activities will bring huge relief to the beneficiaries. The state's Deputy Governor, Hassan Nasiha, who represented Governor Bello Mohammed at the event, said the state government had approved 1% to the State Contributory Healthcare Management Agency as equity fund for the vulnerable groups and matching grant for the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, BHCPF, in order to strengthen the state healthcare system in the state.
As we are all aware, ladies and gentlemen, access to affordable healthcare continues to be a challenge for most households due to high level of poverty and significant reliance on out-of-pocket expenditure. Hence, health insurance population coverage throughout the country has remained low. This challenge caused most states of the Federation to domesticate the NHIS based on their religion and traditional value system and other peculiarities.
The State Commissioner for Health, Aliu Abubakar, said the present administration will not relent in its effort until residents of the state enjoy access to quality health services.
The Basic Healthcare Provision Funds was established under Section 11 of the National Health Act as the principal funding vehicle for the basic minimum package of healthcare, and at the same time serving to increase the physical space and overall financing to the health sector.
The Executive Secretary, Zamfara State Contributory Healthcare Management Agency, Dr. Abdul Qadir Shinkafi, disclosed that the program is to cater for the vulnerable population, which includes pregnant women, children under the age of 5, the aged, people living with disability, and internally displaced persons in 147 wards in the state.
Your Excellency, today's occasion marks another milestone in the state health sector reforms where vulnerable populations across the state have access to affordable and qualitative healthcare services owing to your total commitment, interest, continuous support to the agency since its establishment. These beneficiaries will access healthcare in the NHIS accredited healthcare facilities ranging from comprehensive health centers, primary health centers, and general hospitals to provide primary and secondary services across the state.
Some beneficiaries of the health intervention appreciated the Zamfara State government's desire to provide free healthcare services in order to improve their well-being.
Concerned residents of Oshodi, Isolo local government area of Lagos State have decried the electricity bill imposed on them despite blackout. They accused the Ikeja Electric Distribution Company, IKEDC, of exploitation despite unstable power supply to the area, describing such act as unfair. Members of Let There Be Light Forum said the Oshodi Solo Local Government Constituency 1, comprising Oshodi, Alasia, Shogunle, Mafoluku, and Ewututu communities, have been in total blackout for 3 weeks until August 5, when some areas were supplied after complaints by residents. They said the total blackout occurred due to a power surge and fire outbreak that occurred in the substation within the Oshodi Solo Local Government Secretariat 3 weeks ago.
It makes us lose focus on whom we are. It makes us lose our human value. The lacking of electricity at this era of very expensive crude oil. Many shops have folded up, many businesses have been shut down because of lack of power.
So from January now, we have been going through NEPA problem here and there. Even attacking the NEPA man last time that they came to ration our lights. So all these things we have been going through a lot, but nobody can just come out and say anything about this light issue.
Problem we are facing when it comes to electricity is not peculiar to an area or a state. It's general in the whole of Nigeria.
Really, the problem here we are facing as per the light issue is serious because close to a month, or let me just say right from January, we've been experiencing an epilepsy light problem here. But it's the one that got us so pissed off was the one last month, that close to a month there was no light at all.
The rising cost of the dollar has continued to put inflationary pressure on the Nigerian national currency, resulting in the hike of basic commodities. This has made life harder for the average Nigerian, as Chamunda Beng reports.
The strength and value of the naira has come under scrutiny from many Nigerians who must deal with the rising inflation. Before now, a 10,000 naira worth of shopping would get one a reasonable quantity of basic necessities, but today it can barely fill a nylon bag. Economist Dr. Emeka Okengo sheds light on Nigeria's current economic situation.
Well, the naira is not so strong for very obvious reasons, especially when you just oppose it against other international currencies. Is losing a lot of strength, okay, but it doesn't make it any less valuable, at least for the 200 and something billion people that spend it. So the naira's weakness is against its capacity, okay, to be able to compete in the international market.
The current struggles of the naira to stay above board has increased the pressure on the average individual using the currency for daily purchases. Food items like eggs, sachet water and bread that were easily accessible have now become almost out of reach for many Nigerians.
Seriously, it has not been easy. Like about 2 days ago, I went to market with my son. He's 9. So when we were told the prices of things, because we do go to market together, he was like, why is everything going up like this? So I was not like, that's how it is in this country, because right now the dollar is high, and since the dollar is high, it's going to affect a lot of things. So definitely not good. I just hope it gets better.
There's no saying that the price of essential commodities have skyrocketed. All commodities, you can hardly get it, especially the poor men among us. It is very, very big failure on the side of the government, who have not done much on the agricultural aspect of development since the takeover, talking about PDP, APC government.
Many Nigerians are calling on the government to create policies that will help stabilize the naira. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now let's continue with Chamun Dabeng for more business news.
The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has received applications for 25 prospective operators to get their airline operator certificates, AOCs. The other airlines have been slow to achieve the NCAA standards, with the exception of Nigeria Air, which has proceeded to the next level, and a potential Toucan Air, which is presently in the fourth of the 5 AOC phases. Some industry analysts have speculated that no airline will enter the industry now that expenses have skyrocketed, which has forced 2 significant carriers, Dana and Aero Contractors, to temporarily shut down operations. The lack of available foreign currency has resulted in higher taxes, fees, and maintenance expenses. The majority of airline operations are conducted in US dollars, which is scarce, and sell for 680 naira on the black market. Following recent conflicts between farmers and herders in the states of Abia, Delta, and Kwara, the federal government has declared that the ranching program needs to be reviewed and redesigned. This was revealed in a memo published Tuesday by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Boss Mustafa, and signed by a director in the SGF's office, David Atta. The memo was also written to the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development and was captioned, "Heightened misunderstanding between farmers and herders in Abia, Delta, and Kwara states." According to the SGF, the invasion of farmlands by migrant herders continues to jeopardize food security and disrupt peaceful coexistence in the impacted communities. The Nigeria Railway Corporation, NRC, has been forced to decrease the number of journeys on the Lagos-Ibadan train service by roughly 66.67% due to the increase in diesel prices, which has gone up more than 300% in recent months. Additionally, it was discovered that the firm had recommended a change in the transit fare for the rail service to the Federal Ministry of Transportation. The service was still operating, but trips had been cut back because of the ongoing increase in the price of diesel. This is according to the Managing Director of NRC, Fidet Okiria. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
Foreign scene. Scientists are tracking a new animal-derived virus in eastern China that has infected at least several dozen people. The discovery was highlighted in a letter written by researchers from China, Singapore, and Australia and published in the New England Journal of Medicine this month. The novel Langia henipa virus was found in 35 patients in the Shandong and Henan provinces. Many had symptoms such as fever, fatigue, and a cough. They are thought to have contracted the virus from animals, though no evidence so far if it can be transmitted among humans. Researchers detected the virus predominantly in shrews. Other related henipa viruses have also been found in shrews, as well as in bats. The head of the Kenyan Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Wafula Chebukati, says tallying of results from the presidential and parliamentary elections is ongoing, a day after millions voted for a successor to incumbent President Uhuru Kenyatta. According to the IEBC's website, results had been collected from 95.6% of the 46,229 polling stations across the country's 47 counties as of Wednesday morning. Deputy President William Ruto, 55, is squaring up against former Prime Minister Raila Odinga as the leading candidates in the race to replace Kenyatta, who is finishing up the second of 2 5-year terms. Reports say voting on Tuesday was largely peaceful, but the turnout was low, with only 30% of the registered 22 million voters showing up as of noon, which is 6 hours into the vote. To win the presidency, a candidate needs 50% of the vote in general, as well as 25% in at least 24 counties. We'll now join Adeniyi Ajishafe for the sports news.
League on Wednesday, 24 teams from 16 nations will participate in the competition worth $100 million, with each club to receive a $3.2 million. Meanwhile, the winning team will go home with $11.6 million. The competition will run from August 23, 2022 to May 24, 2023. African Soccer Governing Body CAF has also announced Morocco as the host of the 2024 Women African Cup of Nations for the second time in a row. The North African countries take the last edition in July, with Bayana of South Africa emerging the winner after beating Atlas Lioness 2-1 in the final. The modalities for the qualifiers are yet to be determined, as it was played at the regional level en route to 2022 edition. The semi-finalists will not be representing Africa in the 2027 World Cup, as there will be another WAFCON before the competition. CAF announced Morocco as the host of the biennial tournament on Tuesday, ahead of the 44th Congress of the body. That's Sport News. I am Adeniyi Ajishafe.
And with sports news, we have come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. For more news, connect with us across all our social media platforms. I am Ayinde Shuaga, thanking you for watching.